every time.
Right. 100% does. We should be recording our conversations all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, one of the questions was, what are you passionate about or what drives you? And we tend as a society to base people on what they do, right? What do you do for a living? I dig ditches. I'm a CEO. I'm a whatever, but that doesn't define who the person is, right?
How do you make money versus who are you at your core?
Exactly. So, what drives you? What are you passionate about? And you'll get some weird answers. I talked to a woman last week, an agent. I was trying to recruit her. She ended up staying where she is. But, I asked her not directly, but I said, what do you do? And she talked about how she supports women going through like battered situations and like tries to get them out of that situation and help them with that. I guess she was in a domestic violence relationship. And so she got herself out and now works to get other women out. She said she saved 11 women. She's the 12th, which is phenomenal, right? She said that with her tax return, she puts money on a hotel, just one night of a hotel that she can, if someone's really in it, she can say, get out, go to this hotel. It's already prepaid for, just go there, right? And gives them at least a minute to figure out the next step.
Huge.
Yeah, which is awesome for I'm not a battered woman, but I can imagine that being in that position, having anywhere to go that isn't home or your car, right, is huge. So anyway, that's kind of the driver on what drives you, what are you passionate about versus the what do you do, right? So anyway, with that, hey, I'm Ken Jamaca, host and managing broker. Today I have with me co-host Katie Martin. Say hi.
Hello.
And this is episode 1 of The Blueprint, and we're pretty excited. And there's my cat walking by. Just to get to know you guys and for you to get to know us. And, I think we'll just kind of have a quick intro here, and then we'll grow as we have some new and exciting guests. So, Katie, let's start with you. What do you do? I mean, I know we just talked for 5 minutes about not asking this question, but you have a unique employment situation because you're more than just a real estate agent. So let's talk about that for a hot minute.
So I became licensed in California as a realtor in 2023. But prior to that, I was a transaction coordinator. I am a transaction coordinator as of 2019. So I've been doing this for almost 6 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
And I love it. I really love it.
So what got you into TC work?
So I worked for a very long time at a law firm, and the managing partners decided to retire. Wonderful for them, which left me the task of finding a new job. And I applied for a position as a transaction coordinator at a local software real estate company. And I had never heard of that position. I had no knowledge of real estate. And it was the only position that I got a call back on that I applied for. And it turned out to be...
It's an important piece there.
Yes. It turned out to be the most perfect job for me. As silly as it sounds, I grew up saying I wanted a job where I filled out forms all day long because I find some strange joy in that. And
that is my personal hell, by the way. Like, yes. There's nothing good about that.
Yes. And this is why agents and TCs have such a symbiotic relationship, because I love it. And essentially a TC task is to review forms all day long, make sure they are filled out correctly. So I am happy as can be in this role.
Awesome. And then you became an agent after that. Any particular reason why?
I thought that I had wanted to transition into becoming a full-time agent. Have looked into it a little bit here and there, but it's not totally my jam. So now I'm just happy to help out any friends and family or whomever I may stumble upon that needs the help. But it's just an extra wealth of knowledge. It's an extra resource that I have to fall back on. And it helps me be a better transaction coordinator, better support for my agents. I have agents as far south as San Diego and as far north as Redding. And so having any sort of additional knowledge that I could possibly have is only going to help them more and myself as well.
Are you only in California?
For right now, yes. I used to be in several states throughout the United States, but when I went independent in 2020, I dialed back my business to just California. Not that I'm not open to other states, but for right now, I am only California.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, it's a huge market. It's a huge
absolutely.
State, so.
I mean, yeah. we have one county bigger than half the states in the country.
And every part of California has a little bit of different rules. So it's like, for example, San Francisco, completely different scenario than anywhere else in California. So it's kind of like a bunch of little states in one, which I really love.
That's interesting. So you've been my TC for 6 years, pretty much, since you were at your last company. You know a lot about how I operate and what I do, and we don't need to talk about that too deep. But one question I have, and this is very, very specific, I absolutely hate local disclosures, right?
Okay.
So when they're forced upon you and they're like, you're going to disclose all these things that are mostly irrelevant. How many other agents or brokers are as passionate about not wanting another form, about not wanting a local advisory, for example?
I would say you're in the minority.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that most brokers feel apathetic towards them or feel gung-ho about them and absolutely want them included in disclosures. And those brokers typically are the ones that require a lot of outlier disclosures that I don't see on many transactions.
Yeah. So I see things that just make me crazy. Like when a buyer's agent wants a seller to sign a disclosure that is required by their broker, but the seller is not necessarily going to disclose that, right?
Sure.
I can't think of a good Kitex piping, right?
Okay.
So we know Kitex is a disaster. Try not to swear here, but it is a swear-worthy disaster. But there's, we're not even in a Kitex neighborhood, but yet we get a Kitex disclosure and it's got a logo of the buyer's agent's company. And, why are they asking our seller to disclose something that's completely irrelevant to this transaction? And I absolutely hate that. Like is
your hatred from a client standpoint, from a broker standpoint, or from where does that stem from?
It's irrelevant. I hate paperwork. As much as you love paperwork, I absolutely hate it. So it's just one more thing that now I'm chasing down. I mean, I say I in the global term. You're chasing down on my behalf. This stupid form that's irrelevant, is not statutory, why? Why are we doing this? So kind of it's that, right? It's another question I get from a client like, what's Kitex? I'm like, it's plumbing that you don't have, but you're going to tell people that it doesn't matter because you don't have it. But if you did have it, it might explode and flood your house.
Got it.
And then I get why am I? Because they fucking want it. Oh, sorry. Trying not to swear. I'm very passionate about this particular subject. Yeah. So that's why.
So with your love of paperwork, what made you want to become an agent, see what that's like, and then become a broker?
Oh, so
which means more paperwork.
Well, and liability.
Yes.
So before real estate, I ran a data center services company. I started in 2003. I ran that for 15 years and sold it in 2018. Grew it to a reasonable size, and then I was done with that. A whole lot of reasons, but sold that off to go back to flipping houses. I've been flipping houses since the 90s. I still flip today, but moved out of the Bay Area up to Sacramento area, and the intention to flip. So I flipped 3 houses in Sacramento area in 2018. I also sold my house in Livermore. And at the end of 2018, I was doing my taxes and realized that I spent over $100,000 in listing side commissions alone. And I looked at my wife and I was like, the test can't be that hard. For $100,000 a year, I can pass the test, right? So we both did it together. We both got licensed in 2019. And we did a bunch of transactions in our first year. The first one we ever did, we double ended, and I decided I'm never doing that again. I don't like it. So ironically, I've done it one other time since then on the exact same property. Different story. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so I got into real estate because I was tired of spending listing commissions. But then I became a broker almost exactly 2 years later because I don't like having a boss. And even though my first broker is one of my best friends today, became my best friend while I was working for him, all he did for me was sign broker demands. If I had to call him, he had to call Car Legal. Like there was nothing he was providing me for 20% of my money. So I said, I'm gonna get my broker's license. And I told him that early, like 6 months in. I'm like, I'm gonna get my broker's license the minute I can because you're useless. Again, we're friends. I can say stuff like that to him. And so I did. And then I had a team under Mike, and then they all came with me to J Castle, and then we've grown from there. And now we've got 23 agents, I think. One of them is my wife, one of them is my daughter, and my daughter's boyfriend. So four of five of us have the same last name, which is great. I guess Brandon doesn't have my last name, but conceptually he does. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of my origin story a bit. In real estate, at least, there's a lot more there. So yeah.
And so when you became licensed, did you just fall in love with real estate, or did you continue with just the intention of flipping homes? What made you start to take over full time?
Yeah, this is my wife's fault. So we she wanted to try the real estate thing, right? And so we did some lead gen, and we found, I was actually on Facebook. Facebook leads used to work. They don't anymore, but they used to work really well. And we met this young couple with two babies, 2-year-old and an infant, like brand new baby. And we showed them a handful of houses. We got them a contract on one. And then Natalie got to give them keys. And giving a young family keys to their first home, they were so excited. The kids are running up and down the hallway, picking their bedrooms. And she was like, okay, we do this now. This is what we do for a living. I don't need dust and construction. I want to give keys to first-time home buyers.
She's been chasing that high ever since.
100%. And while I love all of my clients, I would not trade them for anything. I'm a listing agent. I am not a buyer's agent. I will work with buyers if I have to, but Natalie and I kind of divide church and state there, and she doesn't like paperwork even more than I do. So she doesn't like doing disclosures and listing stuff. So I do all that stuff because that's way more fun for me. And she does all the buyer stuff. And of course, we back each other up. We have a really nice relationship where, she does car stuff. She takes kids places. She shows buyers stuff. I do home office stuff. I do not kids stuff, and a lot of listing and brokerage management stuff. There's actually a lot that goes into being a broker, and a lot of petting the puppies, as I like to say, right? Keeping people kind of corralled like kittens in a playpen, which is about as much fun as it sounds. But yeah, so that's how we got into more real estate than flipping. We do still flip, but it's not our primary source of income. So if we don't find one, we're not going hungry. But yeah, so I still like the construction aspect.
Great.
So changing gears, let's talk about you for a minute. So back to my previous conversation, what is it that you're passionate about?
Depends on the day, really.
I get that.
I would say I'm passionate about animals. I have lots of animals. I really love, this is a good question. Let me think about it for a moment. I'm passionate about seeing people. And that sounds weird, but I'm passionate about not labeling people based on what you see at first. I'm passionate about meeting people and truly getting to know them, because I think that's such a rare thing these days. And I love just listening to people talk. I'm told a lot that I'm a great listener because I shut up a lot and I just let people talk.
I've noticed that.
And I find humans so fascinating, which sounds kind of alien, but I think every person has such a unique story and so much of a unique perspective. It's so cool that you get to live this life as yourself and no one's had the exact same thoughts and experiences that you've had. And I find that so fascinating. So when I meet people, I love just hearing who they are, not what they do or, what they ate for lunch. I love finding out who they are at their core. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult because so many people are so guarded these days. But truly, I'm passionate about understanding other people's experiences in life.
That's crazy. I mean, that's good on you. Like this is going to sound totally narcissistic, but I don't much care about people's cores. Unless they have 6-pack, then their core is pretty cool. But I made that up just now. But it's kind of that main character energy, right? Like everybody's the main character in their own story. And it's interesting to me, going back to like The movie The Matrix from 1,000 years ago. And, you're walking down the street and you see all these people and you are functionally irrelevant to them. You're the guy in front. Hurry up, get out of my way, right? You're the block in their life, not another main character in another story, which I guess putting it in the humans are fascinating kind of realm. Yeah. I mean, everybody's a main character on some level, and understanding their story and their game, for lack of a better, I mean, to relate, main character energy to like video games.
Mhm.
Um, Understanding their own game that's deep. That's deeper than I thought we'd go.
And I will admit, this is not a practice I partake in a lot in normal life. A lot of this is like me watching documentaries about people, or I'll delve into true crime because it talks so much about the background and psychology of people. But I always try when I meet new people to really understand who they are before I make assumptions and make judgments, which is natural. Everyone makes judgments. So that is where I would say don't partake that as me seeking out humans randomly on the street or in Costco asking like, oh my God, tell me your life story. It's a lot more of like consumed media. So that
Do
being
you know
said,
how much fun it would be to be like, excuse me, Costco person in front of me, tell me your life story. I want to know you at your core, and just see what happens.
yeah,
Just,
tell me your secrets. I want to hear them all because that does step into a territory of like, maybe this is not my business, which also
absolutely.
which is also something I like to support. But I would say understanding humans and seeking out information about humans, as weird as that sounds, it's just such something I love doing.
So would you ever become like a private investigator?
Oh, in a heartbeat. If the FBI called me tomorrow and said, "Hi, we need you to be an online investigator," I would drop everything I was doing and run there. Yes, absolutely. I would love to dig into all of that stuff.
Yeah, we are very different people. Apples and brain surgery different. Like we're not even the same category.
Yeah.
Um,
Anytime one of my girlfriends would go on a first date, I say, "Give me his name and number, or just give me first name and last name. I'm going to find him online. I'm going to make sure there's no skeletons, easily accessible online, and then we'll talk." So
wow.
That's always my role.
Yeah, so that's not what happened with Natalie and I, hilariously. So we met on Match.com. She emailed me at 8 a.m, and our first date was at 3 that afternoon. And then we moved in together about 6 weeks later, and we've been together for more years than I want to count. I had a red beard when when we met. That's how long ago it was.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah. So we have teenage children together. So, all right. So you mentioned that you like pets and you have a whole lot of animals, like donkeys and goats, or what do you got back there?
Unfortunately, no. I wish I had the land space for that, but I have cats and dogs. Okay. And for right now, that's enough.
I get that.
Yeah. Someday I would love to move to a farm and just have all of these everythings.
Right.
But for now, it's just cats and dogs.
Conceptually, I would too. I would love to have 10 acres and all kind of stuff. But then I don't like going outside. I'm an inside dog. Like, yeah, I'm good. I got cats and dogs too.
It'd have to be my full-time job.
Oh,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
work full-time and then also have a farm. It would be farm only.
Yeah. Well, but then could you slaughter chickens for food? I mean, like that's part of being a farm, right? Is consuming your pets.
No. I don't think I could. No, I don't.
This is Rosie the Rooster. Yeah. Now your dinner.
But I'm pretty sure you can hire people to do that for you.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm not.
But when you look down and be like, we're eating Rosie, that's terrible. No. I have a friend who has a ranch and she has 3 donkeys and 13 peacocks, which is like crazy people numbers. A gaggle of chickens, 1 rooster who's kind of a dick, and then a big pond. And they have koi and all kind of neat bluegill and bullfrogs and stuff in their pond.
Very cool.
So, yeah,
you
they
also
like
have
that.
A pond.
Huh? I do also have a pond. Yeah, that's we did a whole podcast on that. So that's a funny story. My wife wants an owl, like not to have one, but just to have one that she can look at from afar, or feed it grapes. There's a whole grapes thing. But I Googled, how do you get an owl? Right. And it said, well, they need a food source, a bathing source, and a drinking source. I thought about it. I'm like, well, I could build a pond in my backyard, and that's water and bathing, and it will attract critters. So that's food. I'm build a pond. And that was on a Tuesday. And on Sunday, I had a pond. It was not a great pond, but it was in fact a pond. It leaked about a month in. And so I tore it all out and I built it again, except for now it's double the size. So I went from 8 by 8 to 11 by 16. And now that one's beautiful. I have a 4-foot waterfall and 15 koi and a gaggle of goldfish. some 15 or so frogs. I had a sturgeon. His name was Steve, but Steve was an idiot and hung out in the shallows, and my neighbor's cat ate him.
Oh.
So poor Steve. So yeah, I'm very proud of my pond. I built it for cheap. I managed to find almost all of the rocks for free. So I got a guy who was taking out a waterfall, and I got a bunch of rocks from him for $200, but the rest of my rocks were free. And I found out later I had a friend who built a pond, and he spent something with a comma just on his rocks, and his pond isn't as big as mine. So I'm very glad I didn't have to spend a comma on rocks, because that'd be less fun of a pond. I'd have a very small pond if I had to spend a comma on rocks.
I mean, rocks are a good investment, though. It's not like they go
They're
away.
not going anywhere. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
There's a video I'm putting together we got a rock recently that was 2,000 pounds. We had to drag it across a creek bed and 50 feet to the driveway, and then get it up onto my trailer. And it was a mess. And I have a video of my 14-year-old son cranking a come along, dragging this 2,000-pound rock across a creek bed. Irrelevant to this conversation, but I'm going to try to put that together, put it on TikTok.
Right.
So TikTok, where do you have social media? Yeah. Where can we find you?
Most of my handles are Katie Martin Realtor, which that's very vague. I know. Good luck finding me. I'm sure we could put some in the show notes here, but yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I don't know if LinkedIn's still a legitimate source for that kind of thing anymore, but you can find me there.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm hard to find too. I'm Kenneth Jamaca, one word. I am one of two Kenneth Jamacas in the world. There's me, and there's some 20-something-year-old guy in the Philippines. I don't know, but pretty easy to tell us apart. I don't have a red beard. So you can find me pretty much everywhere. If you can't find Kenneth Jamaca, I don't think I'm Kenneth Jamaca on Instagram. I think I'm J Castle Group on Instagram. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know how to use Instagram. So I was talking to Eddie today, actually. He's like, you need to get on Instagram. And I was like, I have an Instagram. He's like, but it's all business. I'm like, because I don't know how to use it. And my marketing company just Sign a Life on Instagram. I make TikToks a bunch. I can use TikTok because I'm really a 12-year-old girl at heart, but I can't figure out Instagram to save my life. So I actually tried to do with Boo, when they did that Michael Jackson LSU dance, right? A couple years ago or whatever. And I tried so hard in my living room to do that dance. And we get about an hour and a half in. We're like, I can't, my knees are going to fall off my body if I keep doing this. So yeah, I try to do stupid stuff on TikTok. So, all right, what else we got? You and I talk like 15 times a day. So finding things we don't already know to tell other people is harder than you would expect.
Well, what are you hoping to provide people with this podcast? What can they expect?
Yeah. All right. So I am a wealth of knowledge. You are a wealth of knowledge. I'm pretty funny. You're reasonably funny.
Thank you.
And so I think just kind of educational stuff. My goal is to get industry professionals to come on and talk about their expertise, not just relying on me and you. If insurance agents talk about the FAIR plan, and NHD providers talking about changes to the way the NHD laws work, title reps, lenders, all that jazz. Things that people in our industry care about, but not just dry. I could watch a webinar on this and I would fast forward through it at 3x speed. Right. Listening to me at more than 1x speed is really, really hard. I talk at 4x speed just normally. So I'm actually working right now to go to half speed, and it's probably still too fast for many people. What about you? What's your thought and theory here?
Yeah, again, you are definitely a wealth of knowledge, and I try my best to be somewhat of a wealth of knowledge. And I think there's a very low barrier of entry into this field.
Oh, yeah.
And the California real estate exam is complicated, but it doesn't really teach you how to be a realtor. It doesn't teach you the ins and outs of that. And I think there needs to be a really great source for realtors to have some sort of explanation to these things, someplace to go to beyond just their broker. Many brokers are really, really busy and can't be that kind of mentor for you. But also there's a lot of misconceptions about this industry when it comes to being outside parties, buyers, sellers, etc. And I think having an inside look of what it really takes to be a realtor would be a fun thing to understand and get to know. Again, going back to the I want to know about people. So yeah, just putting it out there of what it's like to be in this industry every single day and the realities of it and the ups and downs of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get Eddie on here because he had a really terrible transaction recently that drove him batty, and I can't wait to hear him talk about that. I mean, I've heard him 90,000 times. I heard him in real time on it, but to get that story out of him and to not just me, it's going to be fantastic. So back to your point about the real estate exam being not onerous. It is. You take 3 classes and you take a test and you get licensed, and nothing in those 3 classes or that license exam have any bearing on being a real estate agent day to day.
Maybe 1%.
Maybe. On a terrible day. So
yeah,
my favorite thing to tell people is you're not going to learn anything. Just memorize the test, pass it, and then come talk to me, and I'll teach you what you really need to know.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And if you ever have to use the word littoral with a client, I need to know about it. I'm going to make a plaque with a date on it because there's no reason you have to memorize the word littoral for the test, and then you're never going to say that word out loud again. I say that word more making this joke than I do ever in real life. So riparian's another one, but that actually is water rights and stuff on riparian stuff. So that one you might actually use maybe, but littoral, no way. There's no way you're using the word littoral. And where we are, like meets and bounds, again, townships, like in fairness, we work in a very established area. If you're buying stuff out in Rando County, that may be more relevant. So
if there are any people listening who have used these words, we would love to hear 100%. From you. 100%. Oh my gosh, please email, chat, whatever. We want to hear it. I want to hear why. I want to hear how many times you've used it. That would be amazing.
Be hilarious. Honestly, be
and
great.
Maybe we would send you a plaque that said it.
If you've used the word littoral with a client in a real situation, send me an email and I will mail you a plaque. I will have a custom plaque made and I will mail it to you, and you will be a guest on our podcast right after that. You'll be the next guest we interview because that is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
So what I had a thought and it just left my head. That happens a lot. So our next guest, I think that we're going to bring Eirik Edens on next. Eirik he was the very first agent to join my team back in 2019. We call him Saint Eirik. He's one of the nicest guys on the planet. I'll let him tell those stories. The one I do like to tell without him is he is, I don't know if he still is, but it's at one point, he was the guy they called when there was a baby that needed a foster home right now. Drug addicted parents, couldn't find another family member, and it needed to go somewhere. They would call him, and him and his wife would go pick the baby up. Don't call it an it. Would go pick the baby up, and they would keep it for as long as they needed to, days, weeks, months, and then just give it up to whoever got it, right? Family member, aunt, uncle, grandparent, whatever. And that is terrible. Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing that they do. But I can't imagine having a 3-day-old baby to a 4-month-old baby and like, okay, done with you. Here you go. Like, yeah, like that is talk about ripping your heart out. Like it's a terrible feeling, but it's amazing that they do it, or they did it. I don't know if they still do. But I know they've adopted a bunch of kids. They fostered a bunch of kids. So he'll have a great personal story. And he was one of the very first brands that Jay Castle branched out to. So we run under a handful of brands, and he runs under Full of Heart Homes, which very appropriate for Eirik. Yeah. So I'm not going to spill any more of his stories today, but we'll get him on in the very near future. What else we got? Oh, I remember now. I had a good question for you, and I just remembered it. So video games. I happen to know that you're a closet gamer.
I am.
So what do you got? What are you playing right now?
I've been stuck on Disney Dreamlight Valley because it's just so peaceful. And it's so beautiful. Have you played it? No, I'm not going to tell you try it.
100%. I'm not going to try it. I agree with that.
I mean, COVID and quarantine was all about Animal Crossing. But let me tell you, Disney Dreamlight Valley is the next level because it's just so fun. It's just a big serotonin and dopamine boost the whole time. It's so beautiful. It's really well made. It's easy. So yeah.
Yeah, on that. That's I have 1,100 hours into Baldur's Gate 3. I think I've gotten to the last fight and then just moved on to a different character, like, I don't know, 10 times. I think I've only beat the game twice, maybe 3 times, and I've put maybe 10 or 12 characters up to the last fight. I'm like, man, I've already beat that fight. I don't care anymore.
Yep.
So, but outside of that, I'm a Sniper Elite guy. I played all the Sniper Elites all the way to the end. And Sniper Elite 5, actually, I was bored before Baldur's Gate came out. I got every golden weapon. I got every achievement except for one. I maxed out the game. The one achievement I couldn't get was like a 2-kilometer shot through trees. And I tried it 1,000 times. I couldn't do it. So I gave up. All right. Well, so Disney, what now? Disney something?
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Dreamlight Valley.
I do love horror games though, too.
That tracks.
I don't know if you've played any of those. Phasmophobia, Dead by Daylight, any sort of spooky jump scare type things. Those
Doom.
are always fun.
I think Doom was the last the last horror game. I'm not a horror guy. I'm not a jump scare. I'm a Middle Earth guy, right? So I mean, you can see I collect swords and I'm a Lord of the Rings fanatic. You can't see it, but I have Lord of the Rings stuff all over my wall over here. So I like that kind of stuff, right? I've seen Lord of the Rings trilogy 100 times. Hobbit, I mean,
you want to know a fun fact about me?
Sure.
When Two Towers was in theaters, I saw it 17 times.
That is remarkable. Good or bad, I'm not sure.
Back when they gave you the little ticket stub, I had them all around my mirror. I went every weekend while it was in theaters.
That is a feat. I've seen Top Gun Maverick 6 times in the theater, I think, and that's the most I've done that.
This was back when movies were like $4.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So I could afford it. Now I cannot.
You can't even read what's in the movies for less than $4. Yeah. So you just walk by them, it costs $4. Yeah. All right. Well, so you're a closet nerd, and you like animals, and don't you have a fancy website, a blog or something you're doing?
It's still in its infancy stages, but yes, I started a blog. So I'm from the generation of blogging online, and I've had many iterations of blogs over the years, but I started one recently because I moved to Placer County in 2022. And so it's called thisisplacer.com. And I am trying to explore all around Placer, which is huge, and talk about best spots to eat, great places to shop, hiking trails. I love hiking, and just wineries, breweries, XYZ, events, all that kind of stuff. So trying to bring that to light in thisisplacer.com.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you didn't mention hiking and your things you're passionate about.
Yes.
But I happen to know more about you than the average bear. So you seem to like being outside.
I do.
We are very different people.
I like to call myself a very temperamental houseplant, in that if I'm not fed and given enough sunshine at all times, I'm going to die. So I really like being out in the sun. And so I just love being outside. There's so much to explore and get to know and see. And I hate that I'll never be able to see the rest of the world, or all of the world, I should say, before I die, because there's just so much to see and experience. But perhaps my passion is just experience. Okay. Instead of people, but just experiencing all that the world has to offer. It's very important to me.
No, and I would argue that people are a part of that experience, right? So that is a broader, people are a subset of your broader passion. And I can appreciate that.
Yes. So you are an indoors person. You're an indoor cat.
I'm an inside dog. Like the farthest I go is my pond, and it's 15 feet out my back door. Like that is it. So I am pasty white. So if I go outside, I burn. If I just think about the sun too hard, I'll burn. And I don't like that. So yeah, I'm an inside dog. I really just sit at my computer and work, or pretend like I'm working, or play video games. That's pretty much my whole life. Here's a fun question. How many monitors do you have?
I have one, but this monitor is a 47-inch ultra wide monitor. So it's essentially 3 monitors. It's quite large. It was on sale.
47 inches.
Yeah, it's big. How many do you have? I hear you have more now.
4. Yeah, I have 4 now. So I have my big 32-inch that I do most stuff on, and I have, I think that one's 30 and that one's 27. And now I have this itty bitty one. It's like 6 inches, but it's just to put voice meter on, so I don't have to have it on a big screen, but I can still check levels, which I deleted this morning because it was making me angry. So, software that makes me, software that makes me angry does not last very long on my computer. I have nothing to be angry about. So if something I can get rid of makes me angry, it's out. It's out. So, all right. Well, with that, we need to come up with an outro. Like we really need to figure out an outro because like, okay, bye. And like, that's going to sound dumb. We can do it this time because we don't have an outro yet, but we need to come up with something. Anyway, anything else for our widely vast audience?
If you have any stories you'd like to share, that's one of my favorite thing about podcasts is when people do the proverbial call in and share their stories. Share us whatever you got. Horror stories, tales from the trenches. We want to hear them. I love stories like that. So send those in anytime you got them.
We should do a whole episode on Tales from the Trenches because there are, between you and I, just our transactions that we have gone incredibly fun. But I'm sure that you have more stories than I do on things that have gone just horribly.
I see about 400 transactions a year. So yeah, I've got a couple stories. Thankfully, I'm a very much auxiliary outside person. So I just kind of like eat popcorn and read my emails. Yeah. But man, there are some things that have gone down where I've thought, what in the world?
Yeah. I've been in mediation 5 times. 4 as a broker, 1 as a client. So I've only ever lost 1, and we never should have been in that mediation in the first place. We were clearly in the wrong, but they demanded mediation, and I was like, you're gonna lose. Like, I don't know why we're doing this, but
well, at least it works.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It being on the right side of the rules is always helpful. So and I don't chase them down. I don't look for reasons to go to mediation, but if something goes sideways and my client wants to pursue it, I'm happy to do it. So yeah, if you ever have a mediation coming up and want some advice, reach out, give me a call. I'm easy to find, right? Just Google Kenneth Jamaca. I'm the first 10 pages on Google. Katie is less easy to find. But if you find me, she's linked to a lot of my stuff. So you'll find her anyway. All right. Well, with that, it's been fun, and we will catch you on the next one.
Take care.
Thanks.